Hello everyone, my name is Gabriel. I'm joined here by Rohan Ganachari, and today we will be talking about SOC 2. So, hi Rohan.
Hey Gabe, I'm Rohan Ganachari, the Compliance Manager at Finsweet. Today we will learn about SOC 2 compliance.
Finsweet, agency, product, community. That's effing sweet.
Today's session will cover three major topics. What is SOC 2? Why do we need it? And how do we get it? While doing the session, I'll go over 12 points. So let's start off. What is SOC 2? SOC 2 is an acronym for System and Organization Controls. Fun fact, there is SOC 1 and SOC 3 as well. I will tell you briefly what SOC 1 and SOC 3 are so you get an idea of the whole compliance industry there. So SOC 1 focuses on financial data. It's useful for companies that make software that deal with revenue. SOC 2 encompasses a more extensive scope. It focuses on 5 trust criteria. That is availability, security, processing integrity, confidentiality, and privacy. SOC 2 is important for SaaS companies like Webflow or Zano. SOC 3 covers what SOC 2 does, but makes that data transparent. Not all of it, but a good chunk of it. It focuses on transparency. SOC 3 compliance is used for marketing purposes. Both SOC 1 and SOC 2 have further categorizations, that is type 1 and type 2. The difference between the types is that type 1 verifies compliance at a specific point in time, let's say 22nd May 2024, whereas type 2 verifies compliance over a specific period of time, starting with 3 months and then with 3-month intervals. So you've got 3, 6, 9, and 12. At Finsweet, we have started with a 3-month interval, and then we will move on to 12 months. Side note, before we continue, SOC 2 and ISO 27001 are quite similar to each other, although they have some unique differences. It's just that SOC 2 is the preferred compliance method in America, and for everywhere else, it's ISO. So depending on your company's target market, you would get one or the other or both. SOC 2 is the security standard at the company. It's not project specific. So every new person that you hire must become SOC 2 compliant before they are given access to production systems. Why do we need SOC 2? So SaaS applications require SOC 2 compliance in order to attract big clients, enterprise clients. Let's say Amazon or Dropbox, they want to adopt Webflow. They would look for Webflow's SOC 2 certification. So if you want to get enterprise clients for your SaaS app, then it would be great to get SOC 2 certification. All growing and successful companies have SOC 2 compliance. Check out Zano, Airtable, Notion, or Slack. Next time you go to a SaaS app company website, check out their security page. You'll get more information about the standard that they follow, and it could influence your choice in adopting them. Third point, how do we start? So it's best to hire a company that specializes in helping you maintain and prove compliance level. So that's because auditors look for time-stamped information on the activities. And normally a software can provide that. If you try and do something like that manually, it is extremely difficult. At Finsweet, we chose Vanta to help us get SOC 2 compliance. Moving on, policies. It is the basics. In written format, we write what we do at the company, how we operate at the company to remain compliant. Let me give you a few examples of the policies we have at Finsweet. It's not the full list, but just some of them. We've got information security, roles and responsibilities policy. It establishes clear roles and responsibilities at the company who would communicate effectively and implement the procedures within the company. We have secure development policy. It ensures that information security is designed and implemented within the development cycle of a product. We've got operation security policy. It is to ensure correct and secure operations within Finsweet. Incident response plan. It helps us manage information security incidents, tells employees and incident responders on what steps to follow. Finally, business continuity and disaster recovery plan. It helps prepare the company in the event of a disaster that is outside of our control and lays down steps to minimize the damage and to restore operations in the shortest time possible. Okay, great. Now that we have established what we do, how do we prove that we are actually doing it? The answer to that is tests. So, Vanta offers hundreds of tests in order to maintain and prove our compliance level. These tests become sort of a checklist for us to pass within a certain time frame. You may be wondering, how is Vanta checking things, and what are they checking? Well, earlier I mentioned policies. I haven't written all these policies. They are very complicated. So Vanta provides us with templates, and I and my team, we worked on these templates to modify them to suit our needs. They have also pre-built all these tests. So each test links to specific points within the policy template that ensures compliance. So when we pass a test, we pass that compliance check. Vanta has many integrations with the popular vendors like HubSpot, Google Drive, Auth0, to just name a few. And of course, as a company, we need to use these tools in order to operate. Through these integrations, Vanta pulls in the required data from those vendors to see whether we meet the compliance criteria. Of course, there are vendors who do not have integrations. In such a case, we would then upload manual evidence into each of the tests. And auditors love that because each test has an activity log and they can see the timeline of when something passed, when something failed, when something was overdue, etc. So those are tests. Now, moving on to documentation. Protocols involve procedures. Procedures involve documentation. So we need to maintain internal and external documents to be SOC 2 compliant. To give you a few examples, public documents would be a support page. Gabe will share the link to the support page on our company to give you an example. There are terms and conditions, privacy policy, public changelog, or a security page which would give a summary of the security at a company. Examples of internal documents would be NDA, security workshops, employee termination agreement, or performance evaluations. So we need to have these documents in place and ready at hand to show to the auditor. Moving on, Vanta Agent. A tool so cool that I made a talking point just for it. Vanta Agent is a lightware software that everybody at Finsweet must download. It runs in the background of the work equipment, continuously monitoring for compliance. It is not a tracking software, so it does not know any personal activities. It does not store credit card information, nor passwords. So Finsweet obviously acknowledges and respects the privacy of every person. But Vanta Agent looks for things like, is your computer software up to date? Do you have hard drive encrypted? Is there a password manager on the laptop? And also makes a note of all the applications that are in your computer, in case there is a security incident with any one of those, then Vanta agent would notify us of that. It's very important for a company like Finsweet that is global and remote at the same time. People use their personal equipment to work. So we need to ensure that those computers are safe and meet our security standards. Next up, access reviews. So every person must get access to only what they need to accomplish their work duties or to carry out their work duties. Permission level and access to vendors are reviewed frequently. Quarterly for critical and high-risk vendors such as Auth0 or GitHub. Annually for medium and low-risk vendors like, let's say, Airtable. Moving on, security measures. I will name just a few so you've got some more idea of what they are. We have a password policy in place which says that passwords need to be at least 8 characters long with special characters, upper and lowercase, numericals, and special characters in them. 2FA must be enabled on critical and high-risk vendors or apps. And if you have a permission level of admin or manager, then 2FA must be enabled for you. Data storage. Again, because we are a remote company, it is not permitted to store any data on your computer. It should all be in the cloud, and at least 2 people should have admin level access to that data. We conduct background checks for new recruits based on their role at the company. And finally, we've got a whistleblower channel. So in case something is not right at Finsweet, you can make a complaint or notify the leadership team about it anonymously. Now, let's say you've done all of this. How do you initiate it? How do you initiate the check? You've got to start an observation window. The minimum would be 3 months. And so the observation window is that during this period, everything that happens is considered for the result. At Finsweet, we started in March. It would complete, I think, in June. And after that, we will start a 12-month. So what happens at the end of an observation window? The auditor gives us a report, not a certificate, but a report that tells everything that we did right and things that we need to improve. So when someone wants to evaluate Wizd to see if it's the right platform, they would then send in a request to look at our SOC 2 report. So that's, I think, a good overview of SOC 2 compliance.
My question is, who should consider applying for this compliance process, and is it for everyone?
If you're a SaaS company, then you should consider applying for it if you have met a predetermined threshold, because obtaining SOC 2 compliance is quite expensive. So it's not recommended if you are just starting off. Let's say you have some revenue coming in and the product can support itself in acquiring a compliance, then that could be the time for you at a point wherein, let's say, your product is ready to get bigger clients. So when you get to that level wherein you have revenue and you have a desire to get bigger clients, you would then apply for SOC 2 compliance if you are a SaaS company. Finsweet decided to become SOC 2 compliant because Wizd required SOC 2 compliance. And since Finsweet owns Wizd, we decided to adopt that compliance level company-wide. If not, it would become very difficult for us to make a hard division within the team. So I think Finsweet could be the only Webflow agency with SOC 2 compliance.
That's interesting. Oh, I don't know if you covered this, but how long is the process? How much time did it take Finsweet to become SOC 2 compliant?
For us, I think it took a good 8 months. We've got all these tests, hundreds of them, and we need to ensure every single one of our application is meeting the compliance level. So definitely a good 8 months. There was so much to do and so many teams involved.
It's a huge endeavor.
Yeah. And of course, it's not a requirement for freelancers and agencies. It's important if you are building a SaaS product like Wist or MemberStack.
But it's super interesting to see behind the curtain, even if you're just a freelancer, to see what other companies are going through or how SaaS products are managed and other processes.
Yeah, and if you become, let's say, a Wiz developer and you need to convince a client to adopt Wiz, then SOC 2 is something you can definitely talk about. And the client could be impressed knowing your knowledge over security practices in the industry.
We've all gone through these talks. I don't know what's the proper wording for it, but we had meetings monthly then with separate workmates, and you guys were explaining the whole process and how the policies work, and you'd ask questions and we had to reply to ensure we've read all the tests. And yeah, it was a very interesting process. So if you want, you can talk about that.
Sure. So Gabe is talking about the workshops we conducted every month for about 3 or 4 months, because the requirement is that every person on the team must be educated on the incident response plan. What to do when something bad happens. Some example scenarios were, let's say your computer is hacked and client data was on it and it was leaked. What do we do then? Or somebody pushed an update in the production code and that caused something else to fail, and now our users are facing problems because of that. What do we do then? So we had a unique scenario for every workshop that we conducted so that teams could know how to respond to that. So for this specifically, we've got a WhatsApp group where we've actually got multiple WhatsApp groups divided by teams, where you have access to everybody's personal phone number. So in case of emergency, you can give them a direct phone call or send them a message on WhatsApp. Of course, communication is encouraged to be done on Slack, but as an alternative, there is a personal phone number as well. It just shows that security is very important, and SOC 2 is all about that, information security. Thank you everybody for joining. I hope you learned something today.
And if you like this type of content, leave a like, a comment, and let us know in the chat what you would like to see in the future. Thank you for joining us.